the Casual Birder podcast. I'm Susie Buttress. As a casual birder, I try to find time to watch birds as I go about my daily tasks. Join me each week to hear about the wild birds I've seen, interviews with others, and stories from listeners around the world. My guest this week is actor and podcaster Mark Gagliardi. Perhaps best known to podcast listeners as the voice of Croach the Tracker in the Sparks Nevada series on the Thrilling Adventure Hour, he was also a regular narrator on Drunk History. Currently, he's playing Father Chuck in the new CBS action-adventure Blood and Treasure. I'm most familiar with Mark as the co-host, along with Hal Lublin, of one of my favourite podcasts, We Got This with Mark and Hal. Each week, they take a topic of great importance, such as Best Star Wars Character or Cake versus Pie, and have a debate to decide, once and for all, which is best. I love that show and I listen every week without fail. We Got This is part of the Maximum Fun podcast network. Every year, Maximum Fun hosts a weekend gathering of podcast fans and hosts, known as Max FunCon. Held at the UCLA Conference Centre in Lake Arrowhead, California, it's a wonderful event featuring live podcast and comedy shows, classes in the creative arts, and talks by inspiring guests. And it's a great place to make friends. I made my second visit to Max FunCon this year, and I was thrilled to meet both Mark and Hal there. I was even more delighted when Mark joined me on a morning bird walk around the beautiful grounds of the conference centre. I had led a group on a bird walk the day before, and I was keen to show Mark some of the lovely local birds that I'd seen. Morning, Mark. It's lovely to have you with me on this bird walk on a gorgeous morning in June at Lake Arrowhead.
It's lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
How much birding have you ever done?
Zero.
Okay.
Zero birding. I went to New Zealand. I was telling you about this. I went to New Zealand and met a bird as I went to an island that greeted me as I entered, this little fantail bird, which you pointed out to me right after that bird was just hurting me.
Yes.
To try to get what he wants.
Treating you like cattle so
Yeah.
you could find the flies.
Yeah. So, but you know what? It was a symbiotic relationship.
Absolutely.
And that was my only experience with
You
birds.
got enjoyment out of it and
Exactly.
he got flies.
So I'm very excited for this.
Okay, well that's great. I mean, it's wonderful that you don't know very much at all.
Yeah.
Because that will make me look like an expert.
Ah, there you go.
What we're going to do is just take a very quick walk around the grounds here. It's early morning and there's lots of birds singing. I'll just point out the birds to you and we've got binoculars, you can have a look. And
Great.
hopefully I can hear your ecstatic cries for seeing the beautiful colours of birds.
I like that.
So we'll just walk onto the lawn because yesterday there was a bullock's oriole here. Around the grounds, have you noticed any birds at all? Like seen anything flittering around?
Not really. No, I've just heard them. But I don't have the eye for it, for knowing to look for them. I will now, but prior to this morning, I'm embarrassed to say I had never given them much thought.
No, I mean, that's absolutely perfect because one of the things I enjoy doing is waking people up to the idea that there are birds all around us and that you can get your enjoyment just from looking out your window while you're doing your washing up.
I like that.
And just enjoying what you're seeing.
Well, I have a big tree right outside my window that's a lemon tree. So hopefully I'll start noticing some birds that are, I don't know, into cocktails and need lemons for their tiny drinks.
Fantastic. Okay, so in the grounds here, we've got quite a few birds around. At the moment, there's nothing. But,
it looks like there's nothing.
Straight ahead of us,
ooh, hey, this
we've
guy.
got a brewer's blackbird. Now, if you borrow the binoculars and have a look, you'll see that it's a male, probably, yes. Oh, he's just flown, typical. Oh, he's on the tennis court thing. You'll see he's a glossy blackbird with very pale eyes.
Oh, there he goes. You can tell he's a male by
the fact that he's the glossy black colour.
Okay, I was going to say, because I didn't know your eyes were that good.
Yeah, so the females are brown, not as glossy black.
Very cool.
So that's that. We've also...
And that's called a what?
Brewer's blackbird.
Brewer's blackbird.
And there's a lot of them around the grounds. So I think they're quite opportunistic and they'll come over and look for crumbs.
Oh, of course. Well, we've been eating outside a lot.
Yes, the raccoons were enjoying that last night.
Oh, no.
Oh, and just to say, so you live in LA now. So
I do, yeah.
When you said you had the lemon tree outside, It's because it's this gorgeous climate and you can grow fruit trees.
we can have citrus trees, which is an amazing thing. I went past a house that I had lived in maybe 15 years ago, and my ex and I had planted an avocado tree there. And a bunch of other trees around the yard. And it was very cool to drive by and see the avocado tree big and full. And
so you can go and harvest them by right.
Yeah.
You planted the trees.
My avocados. I can harvest all of them. I will take every avocado on that tree.
So in this tree, or in these sets of trees...
Which are very tall.
They're pine... I'm not very good with trees, I have to say. Mm-hmm. They're quite tall. So that one's another... blackbird, but there was an American robin singing short while ago, and yesterday we saw a bullock's oriole in these trees, which was stunning. It's a beautiful, bright lemon bird, the male is anyway. So what I think we'll do is we'll walk back up the car park and just see what we can see. Yeah. So house finches are another thing that we might see. They're a small finch. Females are fairly nondescript, brown, streaky colour, but the male has got a beautiful raspberry head and chest, and they're very often sitting on the roof of the conference centre here. So we'll keep an eye out for those. And
they really do. Birds do have the life, don't they?
They do. Of course, they're always having to watch out for predators.
That's true. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Why, as the expert, I'm just taking advantage of your expertise here.
Well, I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm a passionate enthusiast.
What makes a bird require and subsequently receive from nature bright colors?
So I think a lot of the brightly coloured birds, usually males, have those colours as a method of attracting mates.
Oh, right.
So you'll find that when it's sexually dimorphic, which means that the males and females are different, the males are usually brightly coloured or have extravagant feathers that they can wave around or things like that. And just checking.
Who are we listening to now? Can you tell by their
some
song?
Some of them, because these aren't my native birds. Another Brewer's blackbird up there, but there's something calling up here. Sorry. Yes, so sexually dimorphic birds, where the male is different colours to the female. That's generally for mating, courtship displays, attracting the mate. You'll usually find in those species the female is very drab and tends to be the ones that look after the nest, so they need to be camouflaged. So yeah, and you'll see some really extravagant colours. So if you think of things like peacocks.
Right. Literally the verb peacocking. Yeah. Yeah,
so they'll display, they've got the big tail, and the one with the best plumage wins. Now, I just heard behind me...
The boys with the best plumage win. Happy Pride Weekend, Los Angeles. Right? It's all flashy feathers this weekend. We're up here in Lake Arrowhead. Down in LA, it is a crazy party right now.
Absolutely. Behind me here, I just heard a chickadee. So if we just stop for a minute, I'll just see if I can pinpoint it. Oh, in the background there, I just heard a jay calling. I don't know if you're familiar with any of the jays. So on the East Coast, you have blue jays.
I know the blue jays, yeah.
So here they have something called Steller's jays, which are still have the beautiful blue wings and tail, but have a sooty black back, breast and head, and they've got a crest, black crest as well. But they're very raucous, so we might hear them. Chickadee sounds like it's shut up. Okay, let's carry on up the... Oh, they're not very helpful, are they?
I love that you know all their songs.
Well, that's one of the key ways of finding out when birds are around, because you don't always see them.
Yeah.
So if you can start to listen to the songs or listen to what they're sounding like, sometimes it'll be their song that they're calling out. Other times it'll be alarm calls. And alarm calls are really useful to know about, because it can potentially mean that there's something else in the area, like a hawk or an owl. Oh. So it can alert you to the presence of something more exciting. Sorry. Something else. I don't like to say more exciting, because every bird has equal value.
Oh, look, Susie, every bird has value.
No,
I don't know if every bird has equal value. Like, if I had a pet parakeet in my apartment, it would be cool. If I had a pet penguin in my apartment, it would be crazy cool.
Yes, well, okay, there is that. There will be personal likes.
Right.
I've had people on who don't like pigeons. And I've had
I love pigeons.
That like pigeons. I spoke to Carrie Poppy last year, and she's a big fan of pigeons, so that was really good. It's a sad day. We're all packing up to leave
I
after
know.
having been at Max FunCon.
After a lovely, nice con.
Would you like to say a little bit about Max FunCon?
Yeah, I mean, Max FunCon is, this is my first year doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's great. It's the podcast world of recorders meet listeners, and it's everybody hanging out for a weekend. Oh, we're hiking in altitude, and I'm talking, you're right.
I know, it's hard, isn't it?
It's not easy to talk and walk at the same time, Susie.
I'm sorry, so we're going to stop here for a second because I just realised I brought you the wrong way, but that's fine because there's a car park at the top which has got lots of trees around it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so this is where I was staying last year and I keep accidentally coming up this way. In fact,
Look,
last
something
year-
is drawing you this way.
Well, last year I met some raccoons on this path.
Oh, good. You're not the casual raccooner.
No, and I kept well away from them, but it was nice to see them.
I walked up to my apartment one day, and I have two great big trees out front with it split like a V. And sitting in the middle of the V were it was night, maybe 10 at night, 3 raccoons. And I look over and I see them, and they look up at me, and you'd think, I'm a human. You're raccoons. You're supposed to run away when you see me. These 3 guys just looked at me like, what? And I was like viscerally insulted. I was like, what? Get out of here. And they looked at me like, fine. Like no fear whatsoever.
Oh, amazing.
And they have those weird, creepy human hands. But other than that, they're cool. All right, now we're at the hilly treetop, or tree-toppy hill.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look around here because there might be something up in the trees here. This isn't working out. Should we go down the hill and
Sure.
just to the left? There were lots of frogs calling last night, and someone asked
What's
me.
it, frogs, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Someone asked me what these birds were that were calling all night, and they've got a real interesting chirrup, but they were definitely frogs. So I couldn't
That's
name the
impressive that
birds
you,
right.
right. Though I do want to see a bird swoop down and just pick up a frog and carry him away. But not to eat him, just to make him late for something. To quote, who was it? Izzard?
So yeah, I'm trying to understand the birds or the noises that I'm hearing, but I have been. Hold on a second. What's that? I think that's the black-headed grosbeak.
Oh, wow.
So
And where is he?
he's in the top of that canopy, just beyond the roof there. Just want to double check, and I'll give you the binoculars so you can have a look.
Sure. I don't mind that you stopped me in front of a building called Lupine. If we get eaten by werewolves.
Yeah, well, there was no full moon last night. We're okay.
All right, good.
Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. Like, he's just flown up into the next tree along before the wires.
Oh, I see him.
Yeah, have a look.
Okay.
So this is a small finch with quite a large beak, hence the grosbeak name.
Oh, and his
And
little
it's
copper-colored belly is cool.
Yeah, and he's got black head and white wing bars.
Well,
When he flies, he's got...
He flew. I tried to follow him, and now I'm dizzy
he's
from
just
using
up,
binoculars.
He's just up there. Oh, no, he's gone.
Oh, there you go.
But this is what he looks like.
Oh,
Black
yeah.
grosbeak. So this is a very handy little bird thing. And I have a spare, so I'll give you one as a gift when we finish the walk.
Oh,
that you've got
that's
one
so
'cause
sweet.
It's all stuff that you'll be able to see,
Thank you so
and
much.
then to let me know what you're seeing.
Oh, I definitely will. And hopefully it's not werewolves.
Hopefully it's not, but if you do...
Or raccoons.
Get a photo and
Yeah.
tweet it out before they get you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be worried about is werewolves are chasing me. Getting a photo up to Twitter.
Get it onto Instagram, you know?
Right. Hang on a second. I want to get likes.
So I should say, Mark, as well as being an actor and a podcaster of one of my favourite podcasts,
Oh,
We Got
thank
This. You also are part of the Work Juice Improv Players.
Yeah, we did a show here on Friday night. It was really fun. It was, when you're improvising, you never know how it's going to go. You hope it's going to go well, but I was playing with 3 of my dearest friends, and we've been playing together for a long time, and it was just one of those shows that clicked. So it was really really fun for us. Thanks.
Really
It was, it always feels to me like being on a basketball team, and then you never know if you're going to, you never know if you're going to get a win that night.
Yeah.
But we're a pretty good team, I think, and I love those guys, and it was fun to get a win.
And I was able to take part in an improv class yesterday, which was my first ever.
You were great.
Well,
It was a lot of fun.
How hard it is. You can look effortless when you're looking at people like you and Hal, Annie and Janet. It looked effortless. Obviously, you're all very talented
Thank
people,
you.
very funny people. And it makes you want to get up there and go, yeah, I'll have a go at this. Oh boy.
Well, it's something that we've just done, you know what I mean? Like whatever industry you pick, whatever job you pick, you do it for long enough, you can make it look easy. Our job also happens to just be to look silly and just be playing around. So it makes it look doubly easy.
Yeah, it looks easy. Clearly it is.
But yeah, but you guys all crushed it yesterday. It was a blast.
Oh, it was really good fun, actually. It was hard work, and I did freeze a few times, but...
Yeah, but you turned the freezing into a scene, which was great.
Yeah, well, it was also this thing you said about, listening to your partner, watching your partner, and luckily I had good partners who stepped in for me.
Yeah, but that's the thing. All you have to do is just look, Improv is great for people who do all kinds of jobs as just a supplement to whatever curriculum you're taking. That it helps teach concepts like agreement and listening and focus and listening and more listening, and that's the key to life, I think.
And you are currently appearing in a series in America?
Yeah, I'm on a new show on CBS called Blood and Treasure. I play a priest at the Vatican and sidekick to the lead, one of the two leads, Danny and Lexi, and we search for treasures.
Oh, I hope I get a chance to see that in the UK.
You will if you get Amazon Prime or...
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, we drop on Amazon Prime a week after our TV airing.
Oh, that's brilliant. Right, excellent.
Yeah, so no excuse, anybody out there.
Exactly, we'll make sure everyone's watching that.
Yeah.
Now then, I'm just thinking whether it's worth going up Cardio Hill.
I don't know if I've got a cardio hill in me
Is it
this
always
morning.
worth it? I think we'll go down this way, past
Great.
the pools, and have a look at the trees around here.
And it really is called, it's not just the colloquial name for it. This street, it goes up this crazy hill, and it's very steep, and it is actually called Cardio Hill, like on the signage.
Oh boy, it's quite hard, because we're up at high elevation as well.
Yeah,
so
we're at about, what, 6,000 feet up here?
something like that, yeah, 5,000, 6,000 feet. So what we'll do is we'll head
There's
down.
still a bunch of trees down here.
I know they've been watering the grass, so it might be a little bit wet, but
Oh,
are you okay? Or...
that's all right. I got my sneakers on.
Can we get round?
I guess we can hop this little fence down here.
Well, you might be able to.
Come on. You gotta break a few rules every once in a while, right?
Break an ankle, that's all.
Yeah, you're good.
So what we'll do is we'll just walk down here, take a right, and that'll bring us back up the drive of
Great.
the grounds, and hopefully we'll see an oriole. I'm glad you saw the grosbeak.
That grosbeak's beautiful, yeah.
But the orioles are really beautiful too.
We have two classic Major League Baseball teams this morning. Hopefully we'll catch an oriole and a blue jay.
All right. Well, we won't get the blue jay, unfortunately, but we might get a Steller's jay.
What is Sellers jay?
Steller's jay.
Steller's
yeah.
jay. We are passing by a river and a ton of trees right now.
Yeah, you would think, wouldn't you? This is
Right.
early morning. Usually they're all calling out. Haven't seen anything.
I'll tell you this, outside my window now I'm going to know who to yell at
Yeah.
at home.
So you
because
might hear
outside my window.
mockingbirds. Sorry, carry on.
Well, no, that's who I'm hearing is mockingbirds.
Quite possibly, yeah. So they start quite early in the morning, probably at first light.
Mm-hmm.
They have quite a complex call. They can mimic other birds, and they will just sing and sing and sing.
Oof, well, now I know why Harper Lee wanted to kill him.
No, it's a bad thing to do. But yeah, mourning doves, you might be familiar with them. Small dove makes a strange squeaky noise as it flies. Now, what have we got here? That might be a white-winged dove. Let's just have a look.
Good eye. He's over the
It's just
top of
watching
this.
anything that flies. Oh no, it's a flicker. I don't know. Did you see the red in the wings as it went over them?
No.
Okay, so that's a northern flicker. I'll just see if we can
Oh,
see
cool.
it. So a northern flicker, it's a woodpecker, but it eats from the ground. We have a couple of varieties of northern flicker. There's one that's found on the east coast and one that's found on the west coast. This west coast one has a red moustache, and it's a beautiful bird. If we get the bird guide out, I'll show you what it looks like, and then hopefully we'll see it. It only flew over here. So.
Red mustache, like the Michael Jeter of birds.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's a great comedic actor.
All right.
Unfortunately, passed away a few years ago, but had the world's most glorious red mustache.
Oh, right. Well, they don't have a very good picture in here of one, actually, because it's this.
Oh, wow.
So as it flew, because it's got some red shaft in its feathers, as it flies you can see the red.
Oh, wow.
But there's also one called a yellow shafted flicker, version of the northern flicker, but the ones you get over this side are the red shafted.
Is that, and that's not a little bird.
No, it's about the size of, well, it looked like a dove as it flew over. It's about dove sized.
Which way are we heading?
I'm just checking out one that I just saw land. But what I'd like to really do is show you an oriole, but we'll head back up towards the lodge. I've seen lots of birds. It's not fair.
Now it's going to be my... Now this is going to be my Moby Dick, seeing an Oriole.
But what I was going to say was, because you're down in LA...
Do we have those Orioles down there?
Well, you might have these ones, but I haven't seen one before. This was the first place. The one we've got here is called a Bullock's Oriole. That's a brewer's blackbird, just flying past. That little shiny black. So it's a male because he's shiny.
Exactly. Look at that.
Yeah, well done. In LA, I was seeing hooded orioles, which look like this, a bright yellow bird. So again, similar to...
That's the Oriole that I'm used to seeing in pictures for the baseball team.
Right, except they have... The Baltimore Oriole there's about 5 or 6 different Orioles. So the Baltimore Oriole looks kind of like that, but it's got a black head and got more... Yeah, but...
this yellow one is the one we have here.
Yeah, with the eye stripe.
Every individual detail that you talk about sounds like something a Bond villain has. Like, he's got this one. This is the one with the eye stripe. This is the one with the blue plume. You're like, what? These are these are Bond villain traits. Yeah, the clear eye, exactly.
Right, we're heading back up to the lodge now, and hopefully one of the Orioles might be around. Let's just check what this is.
This could not look more California right now.
What with
this great big California? I don't know what these are called, but it's one of these pine trees that is it looks like a teeny little redwood. And by teeny little, I mean it's 70 feet high. But the redwood,
Yeah, go on forever.
He's chirping up in there.
Yeah, so that's the American robin. I just saw him fly across here.
Oh.
So...
I love seeing around them.
Right, there we go, right in the top of that pine tree that's bare at the top.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I think it's the American robin anyway. I could be wrong because I didn't check with the binoculars. But you're having a look now.
I am. He's...
red breast.
Yeah, but not like bright red.
No.
Sort of muted, rusty, with and the wings are sort of speckled brown and white. And he's showing me his butt.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Has he got a dark head?
Dark head, yeah.
There you go. Right.
Well, I mean, as much as I can see of it.
Because it's sunny and it's contrasty.
Yes, but I think it's the female.
Okay.
You could tell me if I'm right.
Let's have a look. Yeah, you're right. We've got the butt.
Yeah. She's just showing us her butt. Thanks, bird.
The other time,
we really wanted to see her colorful plumage.
Exactly,
She's like, yeah, here's my butt.
Deal. I'm going to go with that. I'll double check because I've got the app and I can listen to the call.
Oh, the app plays you what the calls are?
Yep. So
look at that, the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, technology is really helpful. You don't have to carry a big book around with you.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
Bird watching since I was a little kid.
Oh, so back in the day you'd have to have a book and just guess
and no sound help.
Yeah.
So, you just learn the ones that you knew and that was it. But now if they've got something unfamiliar, you can listen on the app and see does it match. So I'm just going to look back and just see whether we can see anything bright lemon in any of the trees.
I mean, I could tell you the tree outside my apartment has a lot of things that are bright lemon.
But they're static, right?
Yeah, right.
So you can watch them quite easily.
I could just watch them grow out the window as opposed to... If one of those lemons flew away, it would blow my mind.
I'm a little bit sorry that I've not done show you the Bullock's Oriole.
Oh, that's all right.
Hopefully you'll be able to look out for ones
I'm excited to find them.
Yeah, and do let me know if you see any. But thanks so much, Mark, for taking the time.
Oh, this was a treat. Thank you for showing me like a world that has existed around me forever that I never paid nearly enough attention to.
Well, it's great when you're out for a hike or, as I say, just walking around town in the cities. We've got so many birds that people just don't even look up and see.
Yeah.
So now maybe, you might have a little enhancement to your walk.
I love that. Thank you so much, Susie.
This
was fun.
Welcome.
I really enjoyed spending time with Mark on this walk, although I was disappointed not to be able to show him the Bullock's Oriole that I'd seen the day before. I hope now that he's back home in LA, he sees some of those yellow birds on his own tree, alongside the lemons. If you're in the United States, do watch Blood and Treasure. New episodes air on Tuesday nights on CBS. Follow Mark on Twitter @MarkGags. He live tweets about the show on Tuesday nights. Unfortunately, I've not been able to find a platform to watch the show in the UK, but I'll keep checking in case that changes. The show was recently renewed for a second season, so I have my hopes. Mark also hosts the companion podcast to the series, Pod and Treasure, which is a great behind-the-scenes look at how the series was made, delves into some of the historical facts, and features interviews with cast and crew. I hope you will also listen to We Got This with Mark and Hal, and that it becomes one of your favourite podcasts too. Mark and Hal have such a great dynamic, and the show is really fun. Links to both podcasts can be found in the show notes. The bird guide I gave to Mark is Birds of Southern California, a guide to common and notable species. My friend Lance Anderson, host of Verge of the Dude podcast, gave me a copy when I visited Los Angeles last year, and it's a great little quick reference guide. It's waterproof, very lightweight, and handy for taking out into the field. It's a supplement to the more detailed guides, but ideal for first-time birders. So, some further information about the birds we saw on the walk. The brewer's blackbird is about the size of a thrush, so that's similar to, say, an aubergine or eggplant, and it's found over much of the United States and into southwestern Canada. Rather a slender bird, the male has a glossy dark purple plumage with very striking pale yellow eyes. The female is dark grey-brown with dark eyes. They eat insects, fruit and seeds, and forage on the ground. They are opportunistic feeders and will take scraps. Their call makes me think that they're irritated, as it goes chick, chick, and they also make a mechanical sounding churr. We saw them all over the grounds at the conference centre, feeding in groups on the lawn, or the odd one coming to look for dropped scraps. Their legs seem particularly long in relation to their body, and they walk in a very pronounced strutting manner. The black-headed grosbeak is a compact-looking bird, smaller than American robin, with a thick conical beak, which is large in proportion to its head. Mark and I saw a male bird, which has a black head, dull orange or cinnamon breast, and black wings, with 2 prominent white wing patches. Females have a browner head, with obvious pale stripes over the eye and through the crown. The back and wings are mid-brown with darker streaks, and the breast is more of a warm buff colour than the cinnamon of the male. They eat seeds and may visit backyards, where they'll also take nectar from oriole feeding stations. Both the males and the females sing, often up in the tree canopy. Last year on my bird walk at Max FunCon, I saw one on the ground, and it was the first time I'd seen one of these birds at all, and I was lucky I'd got such good views, as that made identifying the one I saw this year much easier. In researching more about these birds on allaboutbirds.org, I learned that black-headed grosbeaks spend the winter in central Mexico, alongside monarch butterflies, and they are one of the few bird species able to tolerate the toxins that make the butterflies poisonous to other birds. They feed on the monarchs in 8-day cycles, possibly to give their bodies time to eliminate the toxins. Northern flickers are large brownish woodpeckers with striking plumage and found over almost all of the United States and much of Canada. The back of the head is grey, their backs are brownish with horizontal barring, the breast is buff with dark spots, and there is a dark black crescent at the top of their breast. As you heard in the bird walk, there's an eastern race and a western race. The eastern race has a peachy face, black moustache and a red spot on the nape. When it flies, it shows a white rump and yellow underwings, due to the shaft of the feathers being coloured yellow, and it's therefore known as the yellow-shafted northern flicker. The western race that I saw on the walk with Mark has mostly grey head, red moustache and red underwings due to the red feather shafts, and, you've guessed it, this is known as the red-shafted northern flicker. Flickers are about the size of a dove and, surprisingly for woodpeckers, are often found on the ground, eating ants and other insects. I managed to video one when I arrived at Lake Arrowhead, and I'll post the video online. It was using its long beak to probe into the ground and flick the leaf litter out of the way in search of food. Possibly how it got its name? Although the American robin we saw was high up in a tree, they often forage on the ground, as I've seen them do several times before on my vacations to the United States and Canada. They are found over the majority of North America, but in the north only as a summer bird. It's a medium-sized thrush, darkish grey on the head, back and wings, a russet orange breast running from the throat down to the top of the legs, and a pale undertail or vent. They have yellow bills, a prominent white eye ring, and the pale throat has dark streaks. Juveniles are much paler and have a buff chest speckled with grey streaks. They eat berries, worms and other insects, and will also take seeds. They have a lovely song and can often be singing out from the top of trees. To find out more about these birds, and to see videos and hear sound clips, visit allaboutbirds.org. I love to hear about the birds you're seeing. Alan from Savannah is a long-time supporter of this show. He's also a big fan of the Maximum Fun podcasts, and I was incredibly happy to have been able to spend time with him at Max FunCon. He sent me this recording about his garden birds earlier in May.
Good morning, Susie. It's Alan calling you from Savannah. I hope you're doing well. I'm just calling you during my morning dawn chorus to tell you about the birds I'm hearing and seeing right now. So I just saw 2 mockingbirds. They were fighting for a spot on the top of a mailbox. I'm looking at another mockingbird who's staring at me, and he looks like he's about to say something, but every time he opens his beak, he shuts it again. I don't know what that means. It's a little early for the mourning doves. I have seen 1 or 2. There's no sound of the cardinals at the moment, but about 10 minutes ago, one was letting out a call trying to get everybody's attention. A few days ago, I must have seen about 6 cardinals. Most of them, I think, were juveniles. I think they're old enough now to be flying to the feeder, and I think it's actually pretty adorable. One thing I really like about the cardinals, now that I'm starting to understand what they're like, is the dad likes to feed them. He kind of guides them around and shows them around the yard, and they will puff up their chest, and they look really cute, and they'll shake a lot. And that's how I kind of know that that's a juvenile. And it makes me kind of happy. It warms my heart. I see a lot of cranes, especially on Saturday mornings when I sit and just look out in my backyard. The cranes just start to magically appear. There are 2 different swamps by my house. There's one behind my house and there's one next to my house. And the cranes like to go over there and get a little bit of fishing done in the morning. It's kind of interesting. They fly really low. Below the main part of the tree line, or they fly really high, like at the height of like where geese normally are when they're migrating. They don't seem to occupy like middle space. Other birds that I've seen in the last couple of days are the white-breasted nuthatch, the Carolina wren, the chickadees, the tufted titmouse. The chipping sparrows have gone for the season. I'm always sad when they go. They come in droves. They look beautiful, and they have cute little chirps, but they don't last very long. The other day I saw a couple of cowbirds. Apart from this season, normally I see a juvenile cowbird being raised by the sparrows. This season I haven't seen any juvenile cowbirds being raised by sparrows. I saw a few other birds. I'm very much occupied by red-bellied woodpeckers. I haven't seen a pileated woodpecker in a while. The red-bellies seem to dominate this area. And we do have our share of hairy and downy woodpeckers as well. A tree recently fell over in our backyard from a recent tornado, and it's actually kind of conveniently placed the way it fell. It fell over, but it straddles the corner of my fence, and it actually is so horizontally placed that it actually is more like a giant perch. And I keep thinking that I will see some bigger birds hanging out. Recently, we had what I call a bird murder. The mourning doves have become very aggressive in attempting to take over the bird feeder, but really they're only taking over the feeder at the time that they're having breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and then they go. But apparently they attracted too much attention because there was a big old ball of feathers on the ground the other day. And my wife speculates that it's a cat by the dragging pattern of the feathers, but I'd like to think it was an owl or a hawk, both of which are fairly dominant. A couple of weeks ago, there was a large owl hanging out in the trees by my house because he wanted to see the kittens that we just got. So, these are the interesting things that are happening in my yard. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you have a great week. Bye, Susie.
I'd love to know what birds you've seen this week, so do tell me about them. And each Wednesday, I post a fun bird identification quiz on my social media channels. So have a look out for that and give it a try. If you've enjoyed this episode, please tell your friends and retweet my post about it on Twitter or share any of my social media posts. If you talk about the show online, tag me in your post because it's great to see news about the show getting round and it helps it grow. Join our Facebook group to discuss this week's episode or post your photos of the birds you've seen. I really do enjoy hearing your tales, so come and join the conversation there. Find us at facebook.com/groups/Casual Birder Podcast. Follow me on Twitter at Casual Birder Pod or on Instagram at Casual Birder Podcast. You can email me at casualbirderpod@gmail.com. And make sure you don't miss any episodes by subscribing to the show. Subscribing is free and you can do it wherever you listen. Thank you to Randy Braun for designing the artwork for the show. The theme music is Short Sleeved Shirt by The Drones. Thanks to them for letting me use it. Check out their website at www.dronesmusic.net. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you'll join me again for another episode of the Casual Birder Podcast.